couple of weeks ago, I said, the more you get yourself educated, the less the risk becomes. So as these prices are down low at the bottom, and we have an understanding of where they're going based off of potential utility, like what can you lose? This shit damn near like birth control. This bitch 99.99%.
Yeah.
You can get it.
What's good, BlockNation? This is Crypto Queen.
I'm D.
This is Maverick.
And we got two special guests. We got T, we got Kurt. We got two legends in here to give y'all some game, some value. So shout out to T and Kurt for hopping in. Appreciate y'all for coming. So basically this episode is going to be about why people need to get into cryptocurrency. So let's just to kick it off. I want to just start off by asking y'all, why does everyone need to get in crypto?
I'll start it off. The crypto blockchain technology, it's the innovation that's, taking the world by storm. If you look back at, the internet innovation, started, that was late 99, that was the technology that kind of set the world on fire. Well, what we have now with blockchain technology is like the internet 2.0, or some call it web 3.0. But so you have blockchain technology, which is allowing for the movement of value and payments. This big disruptor, which is blockchain technology, is able to cut out the middleman, and you're able to streamline value and, make faster payments, send data quicker, cheaper, faster. It's not just us talking about blockchain technology. It's the banks, it's your regulators, it's your institutions that, deal with sending, high value payments. So they found a way to reduce that friction, which is, those fees and that time delay, and they're able to send money fast and quicker and cheaper. That's why the institutions are drooling over it, and that's why we're going through this stagnant regulation process. So these institutions have rules and laws so they can enter this space and, use this technology to benefit the transaction fees and make money. So it's a little bit of spiel on why I think, blockchain technology is essential.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially if you in business, you got a small business, like, you definitely need to be making sure you make a move towards blockchain, because you're gonna get left behind if you don't.
Me and Kurt have had a lot of discussions about this, especially, from a minority community perspective. And I think the accredited investor system was created essentially to keep working class people and people of color from obtaining generational wealth. Well, like Kurt has always said, this now gives you the chance to be an accredited investor and get in on certain technologies that are going to serve as the lifeblood for the new monetary system on the ground level. That scares a lot of the powers that be, knowing that, there are now people who look like us who have access to this type of knowledge and this type of potential wealth. And so I think it's a big deal. And I think it's, one of the main points about this is that it's affordable. You look at one of my favorite tech companies in Palantir, the share price is probably above $10 right now, right? Great company, great attributes, but you then turn around and look at some of these DLT related assets like an XDC, an XRP, and an XLM, and it's pennies on the dollar. Your return on investment is going to be a lot higher. And I think, for young people and older people alike, I think this is a good opportunity. If maybe you missed out on a lot of the stock bubbles in your window to generate wealth there, you can do it for a premium price here in the crypto space prior to legislation, regulations, and full utilization. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I like what you said. I like what you said, T. That this level the playing field, and this whole being able to participate as an accredited investor without having to qualify as one. That was something we've discussed a while back. And when you look at the price of these digital assets, and you look at you have your your name brand tech companies, your Apple, your Microsoft, your Googles. Those are all solid, great companies. But look how much the share price is Imagine being in the basement when Jeff Bezos created Amazon, but you knew it was going to be the conglomerate of what you see today. That's getting in blockchain technology and cryptocurrency now.
He said a key thing too. He said that wealth transfer, like we're about to see the biggest wealth transfer we've ever seen in human history. Like people were saying it's going to be 68 trillion. Of course, we're going to say it's more, but we may be lowballing it. But just that type of wealth, like there's no way I'm missing out, and nobody else. If they know that knowledge, they shouldn't want to miss out either. So, and like you said, it levels the playing field.
I mean, that's a huge take. Like and I think we've used that example, on live before, on TikTok, just letting people know like this is like getting Amazon and Google and Apple early. That's the part. But just to dumb it down a little bit more, because a lot of our audience is people who are just now getting into crypto. They have no knowledge of it. So I guess what can you guys kind of interpret what crypto and blockchain is and how they kind of go hand in hand in like your own words, or just in a way most people can understand it?
Yeah, so I'll take that on. So when you hear cryptocurrency is just an alternative method of payment used to verify transactions. That's it, an alternative digital method of payment, the digital currency. And so that's your simple, definition for cryptocurrency. For blockchain is a cute word for a digital ledger. Now, a ledger is just a record of data. Where they come handy is because you can't have one without the other. And you got to be careful when you listen to the media and the narrative, because they try to separate it as if cryptocurrency is not needed, but blockchain technology is. You can't do one without the other. Cryptocurrency is the native token that you use to transact on the blockchain. For example, if I go to Chuck E. Cheese, I'm going to need Chuck E. Cheese tokens to play the arcade games inside that venue.
Yes.
Cryptocurrency are the native tokens that you need to be able to participate in that blockchain atmosphere. But just think of it as, Chuck E. Cheese, Dave and Buster, whichever venue you want to participate in, you take your dollars, you go and buy Chuck E. Cheese tokens. The Chuck E. Cheese tokens give you access to the arcade games inside the venue.
And that's what they do. The media, the mass media, makes it sound so scary and so confusing to where you don't want to enter. They do that on purpose.
Yes. And then all the crypto millionaires coming up unalived and all of that. Yeah. Listen.
If they can fudge you out, for those that don't know, FUD equals fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If they can scare you and keep you out of this asset class, and then you only can participate after the institutions have gotten in and ran the price up, then you're only able to buy fractions.
And don't forget the distractions.
Speaking of the media, how do people know what type of projects to look into? Because when we think about cryptocurrency, the first one that comes to mind is Bitcoin, right? So how do people know to distinguish, like, okay, what do I need to get into? If you follow us, you know what we love, but how do people differentiate Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc.?
Well, T, you want to take this one? I'm gonna take this one because I'm gonna go in. I'm not trying to be super assholish, but sometimes it's necessary. So first off, people can stop being lazy and just go on Google and type in Google or YouTube search. Like, I feel like a lot of information is out there, and if a person wants to know more about a particular asset, they can just search for it. I put a story up, earlier, and I was like, last week everybody was a detective and determined that Carly was lying about this little toddler on the side of the road. So y'all can take that same energy and effort to become law and order detectives. Why you can't go on your phone and type in what is Bitcoin?
It's true though.
That's true.
It's true. It's a harsh truth, but it's like, hey, it is what it is.
You know why? You know why though? Because now information finds you, and people are so lazy, and people are so like just spoon fed. So to do some type of research, where we're in the age of information, where everything's at your fingertips, even that's too much.
It feels like work for some.
It feels like
a whole lot.
Want to work.
Whole lot.
When literally, and I tell people all the time, you literally, the same question that you just type and ask me on TikTok or Telegram or whatever is exactly what you can type in on Google. the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I know T, you said it before on a live on YouTube because I was on there, and I kept this in my notes because I wanted to ask you. Can you please explain to people why market cap is not relevant? Please, please.
Here we go.
Market cap, schmarket
Sorry,
cap.
but it's like, and I'm sorry this is redundant for you, but I need it on record for BlockNation because it's in my comments too much. It keep the lives, the comments. I need somebody with some expertise to just please explain why market cap is not relevant, please.
All right, BlockNation. So the first thing you have to understand is what is market cap? Well, market capitalization is simply a number that's, a mathematical reflection of assets' current value, which means it's subject to change. I'm going to make it simple. You want to do something with your bank in the middle of the night, but the bank's closed. You can't get in your car and drive to the bank and go do it, right? Especially if it's something through an ATM and let's say the ATM broke. So what do? You get on your smartphone, you log into an application and you perform whatever transaction you need to within that interface. Well, imagine a world where we see a global shift over to DLT and blockchain related utilities for settlement purposes and the movement of value. And now every bank, every company, every institution has to interface with an application that's attached to these distributed ledgers in order to enact their utility. Now, the other part to this is in order to do it, you need the token essentially to correspond and interact with that application sitting on the ledger. I'll give you an example. If you want to do something on the XRP ledger, you have to get XRP tokens. You have to essentially use them to interface with the app in order to facilitate the utility. Now, imagine everyone in the world is doing that. That means when you see an environment where now settlement is being conducted 24/7, 305 days a year, you're going to need to hold on to the tokens that you acquired in order to facilitate that utility. And to the ODL theory regarding not seeing positive price appreciation from its use, I think Ripple did that and changed their model to loaning out the XRP for ODL to protect themselves, because they knew that the early sales that they did to institutions and accredited investors would be targeted as securities offerings. So they had to change their business model for how they dealt with the XRP for ODL so that they couldn't be scrutinized for it. And if you notice, ODL sales were not listed in the lawsuit by the judge. She never touched on any of that for that reason.
Yeah.
She didn't even mention.
She didn't even mention ODL. What she said was programmatic sales. And if you understood,
she said nothing about
sales
ODL.
were just like over the counter, then it was a no, never mind. But like you are correct. They changed their business model because they understood, okay, we don't want this to interfere with the option contracts we did 2013 to 2015. So when they used it and they're able to loan out the XRP and use on-demand liquidity, which is their proprietary product on the RippleNet software, now they have programmatic sales, which is based on the judge's summary, not a security.
Bingo. Kurt nailed it. And here's the thing with this, right? So imagine a world where foreign exchange is now facilitated through the XRP token because it is the only token that has been tested for Nostro account replacement successfully in 2016 by our 3 member banks, who we know have a stronghold on the private permission DLT environments. And keep in mind, when this happens, those Nostro Vostro accounts that had foreign capital or have foreign capital in them are custodied with these institutions by the brokers. So if we move over to a DLT-based environment, what do you think happens with the XRP that these brokers will need now to facilitate that absent of a correspondent system? They'll have to hold it in those accounts, which means that it takes it off the open market. That means it becomes scarce. That means that there's a demand for it now because everyone's going to have to use these environments to settle their day-to-day utilities, that means you see the price appreciate. And it doesn't take a lot of money to make that happen.
Ooh.
If you missed all that technical jargon that T so eloquently laid out, we're not financial advisors, and I'll never tell you what you should or shouldn't do. But based off understanding how this XRP token and the XRP ledger is going to function, it's going to be pretty important.
Pretty
Yeah.
important.
All you have to
Please,
do
'cause-
is ask the question, what would you do with that
Exactly.
information at that point? That's
Exactly,
it.
because I honestly feel like a lot of people in the crypto space really try and dumb that down. They really try and take credit away from how important XRP is gonna be.
T
Oh, no, you
said
good.
something that I don't want people to miss out. He said using it for foreign exchange. So here's a little just, numbers for people that may not know in BlockNation. Foreign exchange market is $2.4 quadrillion a year with a Q, qua.
Some of y'all
So,
may not have heard of that number or know
yeah, I know.
Quadrillion.
Never.
He said 2.4
2.4
quadrillion.
quadrillion. And
Quad.
if you got an old calculator, you're not going to be able to put in enough zeros. But it's a lot of zeros. So I just want to use this as just hypothetical, but you have to understand what assets you hold and where it can potentially go. If this is just simple math and this is just hypothetical, it may happen, it may not. But for math representation, 2.4 quadrillion. If the XRP ledger, if the only function it had was to settle the foreign exchange market, you would take 2.4 quadrillion and you would divide it by 100 billion tokens. That use case alone by itself would give you an XRP price. Simple math, 2.4 quadrillion divided by 100 billion tokens is $24,000 a coin. I'll just leave it at that.
Hold
Come on,
on.
y'all.
Listen.
They're giving y'all sauce right now.
Listen,
Yeah, this is-
and emphasis on we are not financial advisors. Okay,
No.
that was
No. We're not financial advisors at all, but we have good math skills.
Yeah, I mean y'all threw us in school and made us go to school every day. Y'all was gonna throw our parents in jail, so I blame the system on that. We can do math. We can do math, guys.
So you guys just explained why this project is so polarizing, pretty much in a nutshell. First of all, a couple weeks ago, how did you guys feel when it was not deemed a security? What were you guys doing? Where were you guys at? Did you throw it in anybody's face?
I mean,
so look, look, there's a video, me and Kurt, there's two videos, right? There's a video from about 2 years ago where me and Kurt talked about this, right? Before I even had YouTube or any of that. And we both were like, dude, there's no way the token in its purest form ever gets deemed a security by any of these governing bodies. What they would do is they would target the options contracts due to the Form D mishap, right? The sales for institutional and accredited investors. But we knew that outside of that, the token was going to be granted clarity as a non-security. There's a second video that I did months ago with Linda P. Jones, Jimmy Vallee, Verson, etc., where I was asked the same question. And I said, look, and Jimmy is people like to give Jimmy Vallee a lot of flack, but the man is a securities lawyer. And I told him flat out, and Linda and Verson, there's no way the token itself ever gets deemed that outside of those early institutional accredited investor sales. So when it happened, right, it was kind of like, it was a relief that it was finally done. But Kurt and I already knew this was going to happen. We knew. We just knew. And sometimes when you know, you just know. Now, did I rub it in people's faces? You damn right I did. I went right on freaking YouTube the moment I got off work, and there was a certain someone who attacked me and told me the thing was a security. I was shilling a dud, etc. I mentioned her by name. I said, I want everyone who had something to say to me, Kurt, etc., about this to come front and center, because we knew what we were talking about, man. And you know, the petty moment was short lived. I didn't relish in it too long because I try to be better than that. But you know, it would be hard to not wonder sometimes if because of how we looked, we're treated a certain way and discarded like we don't have the
Yes,
knowledge we have.
exactly. And I was just getting ready to ask a question regarding that, like dealing with conflict in crypto, in the crypto space and being Black. Like how do you deal? Because now that I guess we quote unquote getting a little buzz or whatever, we've been dealing with that lately for like the last couple weeks. We've been getting a lot of haters coming out of the woodwork. Some of them I didn't even know was haters. I was just like, oh wow, okay. Like someone hit me up today and told me about something. I'm like, well, who is it this time? So like, how are you like dealing with that? Because it's like it's difficult, and especially for me because of just how I identify. So it's I just really wanted to talk about that just for a second, like just dealing with the conflict in the crypto space and being Black in this space.
Well, I'll go first. So I'll start off with this. It was by the grace of God I came across and met T through the Facebook group we were in, and I seen him and I heard him and I said, okay, listening to he talk, he has a tech background, he's very thorough. Okay, cool. And then listening to him break down and understand technically how this is going to function based off the information he had seen, I said, okay, this guy's know what he's talking about. So we linked up, and then we just linked up, and it was like the best tag team WWF champion. It was natural, and it was
I heard
organic.
about it.
It was organic because it was like we flowed good, and we both have stood strong on our understanding. Looking at the documentation, piecemealing it, put it together, and it's difficult for a lot of people because a lot of people don't have that background. So if you don't have that background, it can be challenging for others. So
Yeah,
for us
and
to
that
be two male Black figures, unapologetically Black, spitting some hot fire and like really trying to break it down in a manner so people can understand, you get a lot of backlash. And sometimes I want to call the race card, but then a lot of times it's just sometimes it's just, okay, I didn't arrive to the answer that they did. They must be wrong. Because it gets to a point where it's like, sometimes people's comprehension and critical thinking is not up to par.
hmm
And when they get challenged or they can't figure out how to come to the same conclusion that you did, you get the backlash, and you get the hate, you get the rebuttals. But me and T and the other guys, Crypto 901, Chico, Chris, Outlaw, Kev, like we all stood on what we seen because like you guys have done your own research too. You guys are hella thorough, and when you start coming across these documents by these regulators and the powers to be that make things happen, you don't care what nobody else thinks because you've seen the documentation to point you, to the gold. So when you get backlash, people take personal attacks against you, but it's just a representation of their lack of understanding.
yeah, very
Right.
true.
Right.
And it
Very
definitely, of course, and definitely it does help a little bit when you're a little darker, a little darker complexion, and
Yeah.
Melanated.
sometimes some people don't want to grasp that. So it's a subconscious thing too. But when you stand on what you know, and what you don't need validation from nobody. You don't need, and that's how me and T operate. Once we seen and understood it, because I remember when we were breaking down the messaging interoperability with the DLT, and we got crucified for it. It's just a messaging system. It's just a
Yep.
messaging system. So then we went on
Yeah.
Facebook. We went on Facebook, and we broke down that identity patent line by line with the abstract and showed how it is interoperable with DLT. And people were like, motherfucker. Like,
And
because
you,
we broke it down in a manner that's like, fuck, I don't want to believe them. But the way they said it, it makes too much damn sense. And then, you know, it was funny how, as we started sharing this information, no developer was coming out here giving value until me and T kind of pulled them from behind the curtain. And then because a lot of people started challenging what we say. And I'm not saying we're not better than anyone, but when they got pulled from behind the curtain and we would bring them on and they would ask them, well, let me just ask this developer because they can't know what they're talking about. and they didn't give any kind of rebuttal.
And I hate to say it, but folks like Matt Hamilton have had long-winded conversations with me and Kurt about our perspectives. And then I've had, listen, Neil Hartner is the senior software engineer at Ripple. This man got in 2 different spaces and told me, look, man, you're like on target with this. Like your theorization on how public and private interop. And I just want to add that was a subject that was never spoken about publicly, because the BIS came out with a series of projects that were all private and permissioned, and then the Universal Digital Payments Network, UDPN, was launched. Everyone went into a panic. And they said, this is a private solution. They don't need XRP or the XRP ledger or any public blockchain to move money, right? So me and Kurt said, this isn't correct. This is not, wait a second. What are you guys talking about? Like, there's going to be interoperability between those private permission environments and public ones. You can't operate solely based on smart contract application in a private environment when there are institutions that will lie outside of your internalized environments. We understood this. And that is what really brought the devs out to play with us. Because there were things I could tell they didn't even consider about it that me and Kurt had already went down the rabbit hole on. But we're also tech guys. He's an engineer and I'm a sysadmin that works in the engineering department. So we break stuff down and deal with interoperability for a living. And like Kurt said, it is hard for people to look, because we don't look like, even outside of race, we just don't look or act like your typical nerds, right? We're not walking around, with Poindexter glasses on and suspenders and this, that, and the third. So I'm covered in tattoos, we're not, we're not your run-of-the-mill type nerdy people where people would expect us to know what we know, and it bothers some folks, unfortunately. But this goes back to a saying Kurt always says: some people would rather be right or get a one-up over you than win. And if you listen to us, we're just trying to help you win. We're not monetized, and that's no shade at anyone that is. I think it's great, and I think you should be paid for your time. But we just chose not to go that route, for our own reasons, right? And I think that people should realize that we're doing it organically, right? We're doing it simply. Our desire for doing this came out of a passion and a love for it. We're passionate about this space. We're passionate about the technology, and we just can't keep it in, So I hope in the future. I mean, and Kurt brought up a good point. The messaging interoperability with crypto, we called it 3 years ago. Now, what's funny about that is we got crucified, man, by I mean, there were content creators, with 100,000 plus subs who were coming at us over this. Dowley Pay last year, I think late last year, came out and said, oh, for small and medium institutions, we are now working with integrating the ISO 20022 messages with the XRP ledger and token for payments. What were we saying years ago? So sometimes
you guys said first, it's crazy, and and I'm glad you said that, because when I first got into XRP, I had bought I think I bought something like 500 tokens, but it was because you broke it down. So I really want to give you guys your flowers while you said that, because I know you guys didn't go the monetization route, but I still want to give you guys your flowers, because it was listening to your lives and coming across the information. And then you brought up Kurt, and I found Kurt, and then I was just like, okay, I did the right, because I think I put in like $200, but at the time for me, that was a lot of money. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to go, a little bit, a little harder on this, and, DoorDash some money out, whatever I had to do to get more XRP. So I definitely want to give you guys your flowers, because you guys doing just the little things was like, it made a huge difference in this space. So I definitely
and that's what it was about, Ashley. It was like, okay, we were able to understand this on the technical level. It was like, okay, how do we relay this information simplistically so people can grasp it and take advantage while we have this level playing field? Because when the price gets to jumping like a Gotti party, your money doesn't go as long, because the token is increasing in price and everybody wants to get a return. And it's like, we took an onus of, okay, we understand this level playing field. How about we just try to, do what we can, just be a vessel for people. So if they understand and execute, I think this good thing's going to happen in their life. If not, you can never say that no one ever gave you the opportunity or put the information in front of you.
Yeah.
That's
Like
so
you said,
true.
trust me, bro. Season at this point.
Trust me,
Man,
bro.
trust me,
Just
bro.
put out now,
Season.
like, trust me, bro. Season.
Yo, Kurt, I remember couple weeks ago you was telling me if I'm wrong, if we're wrong, then who else is wrong? Who
Man,
else is
listen,
wrong?
man,
What's the
I'm glad
list?
you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that, D, because going down, all you guys have all been on a rabbit hole too. Like going down, you come across documents and you start looking at things. Okay, and I'll stand on it. Like I don't have no problem being wrong. But if I'm wrong, the BIS is wrong, the IMF is wrong, the G7 is wrong, the G20 is wrong, the SEC is wrong, the CFTC is wrong, the World Bank is wrong, the World Economic Forum is wrong. All these governing bodies that make things go around in the world are all wrong. And if they're all wrong, I'll stand on that L. But
They gonna stand on it with us because we all in it together. We all standing on it because that's
and you said something, D, like, and I shared this with you too a couple of weeks ago, because getting in early, shout out Master Investor. He said this and it resonated with me because, he said there's never a bad market, it's only bad entries. So
yeah,
when you take that and think about it, and people are able to understand this to a level to be able to, get in and invest, whatever they feel is comfortable in this asset price. When it jumped up to 80 cents and now it's even at 72, 73 cents, people are in profit. And
Yeah.
people are in profit. And that's just a tease. Like people are not even ready for what's getting ready to come. So if you're able to, just, have somebody's eyes get big just from the quick profit they made by accident, what happens when you get intentional?
Yeah, still far a long way from the all-time high.
Exactly. And that's what I keep preaching in the Telegram to, just the BlockNation members. I had to say it earlier because they were like, why isn't the price moving? And I'm like, listen, guys, institutional money is not in yet. Major retail money is not in yet. Like and XRP works off, being used. I said, just be patient. Like we're mad early.
I want to go back to some of what you said, Maverick, because you hit on something. I want to expand on it just a little bit because you said we're not even at the all-time high. And I don't think people really understand how, the return on your investment can be from 70 cents now to $3.40. Like people talk like that's, the stock market averages 7 to 8% return a year. Like you're talking crazy percentages. And just by right place, right time, being open, doing a little due diligence, doing a little research. And, I told D this a couple of weeks ago. I said, the more you get yourself educated, the less the risk becomes. So as these prices are down low at the bottom and we have an understanding of where they're going based off of potential utility, like what can you lose? This shit damn near like birth control. This bitch 99.99%.
Yeah.
You can get
No, for real. That's
the perfect analogy.
Listen.
I felt so comfortable with D, and I told him, I said, "Hey, if I'm wrong, you're gonna make a little bit of money.
Yeah,
But if I'm right,
we have already though. I mean, it's some people that I've met that bought XRP when it was like, it had dropped to 10 cents or somebody. I got somebody in the chat I think somebody might have been lower than that. So of course, like I'm like, yo, and then they were, trying to figure out, so like I said, a lot of people in our chat, this is their first time in crypto, so they were trying to figure out why the price pulled back after that day of the ruling. And I'm like, listen, guys, it's people that got an XRP under a penny or at 1 cent, so they taking profits and they have PTSD. So
absolutely. Like you got to think months ago, it was just sub 40 cents for a while. It was under 40 cents for a while.
This, what, and people, because like my background, I critical think. Like I deal with technical documentation, and I have a real high critical thinking ability. So this case did everybody some justice. They kept this price suppressed, so everybody and their mom that had an understanding of what's going on could get in and invest if they wanted to into this, while this playing field is wide open before they close the window. And now you see they're closing the window. Exchanges making it difficult for you to get assets. Institutions are clamping down on what your daily limits can be. This is not a coincidence. This is by design. When the door closes, it's going to have a padlock, a deadlock, a retina scan. It's going to have the global entry kiosk.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Listen, it's not opening back up. It's sealed. It's that door is going to be sealed for a long time. So
definitely I just wanted to touch on something that me and Maverick, well, all three of us was talking about a while ago before the movie even came out, and Maverick touched on it on a whole video. Elemental. How do you feel that the main characters were the names of these projects that we are into?
They've been putting subliminal messages in movies for years. Like,
right,
that ain't nothing new. I thought it was real cute. Okay, this June time frame, and then you got the main character, Wade Ripple and Ember Lumens, and they're going to work together to save the world.
In an
ecosystem. So I got Ripple, that's water, interesting. Lumen, light. Ember, light. Oh, that's interesting. I guess it's just a coincidence. I don't know nothing.
We're just people talking on a screen. That's it.
That's it.
I'll say this, okay, and not to take it to a super deep level, but billionaires and multi-millionaires, and those who are a part of the 1% are super esoteric, right? They're super ritualistic, and I'm not even saying just for a bad or nefarious purpose. That's how they operate. They operate on a system of karmic energy. So a lot of the timing behind when they do stuff is about energy harvesting and redistributing that energy back out, right? Like, he made a good point earlier when he said they kept this price suppressed so that people could get in. That's the law of karma with how they operate. They may not be able to come out and just tell you straight up, look, this is what's going to happen by this. But in their own weird way, they've done things and put out subliminals and put out the information so that if you could catch on to it, they could shift that karmic energy back out and receive benefits for it, right? And so it's a real thing. When you start talking about spirituality in the 1%, they believe not only in the law of attraction, but the law of energy as well, and karma. So I think that's what we're seeing mixed in with, obviously the technological, legal, macroeconomic stuff as well. So it's very interesting to see it play out. And I agree that it's right there in front of our faces.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. Just that law of karma, like, you have to, in order to receive, you have to put that energy out, and then it can come back to you. So, and then, it's interesting the way they can just put this in people's face, but all the distractions going on, people don't see it. So, like you said, analogies are my thing, because it people understand it better. It's the same way, like, when you're getting ready to get a new car, before that crossed in your mind, you never paid attention to it. But soon as you get your eyes and focus on a new vehicle, you see it everywhere. It's the same way with this information. Like, that's why they can blatantly put it out here in people's face, in documentation, put the billboard signs up, on the Wall Street, on the state, on the substation, put it up on the NASDAQ display, and people will just sit here, they'll see it, but they're not internalizing because they have no understanding of what's going on.
Yep. It's that karmic debt. Like, that's what it goes back to where they put it in your face in some way, some shape or form. It's almost like how you said analogy. You have a bag of poison apples, right? Doesn't have a sign. You reach in the bag, you eat it, and then the person dies. It's on that person who was selling those apples. But if I have some type of signage, or you're not paying attention, but if I put it somewhere and you're not paying attention, now that's on you. I've told you it's poison apples. So I put it out there. Hey, it is what it is. So that's that karmic debt.
Yeah, them people play games. And I also know they use a lot of astrology too, when they
big with the
numerology.
Yep.
In the numerology,
astrology, moon, the moon phases, because energy shifts, high tide, low tide, like, things work on polarity. So that's another conversation though.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he's going deep.
Yeah.
I love these talks. That's my specialty. I love
I
going
know.
down.
Yeah, I was getting ready. I was getting ready to throw you that alley, Maverick, but I ain't want this. I ain't want this to go that way.
Yeah.
No,
No, for
like
sure.
just to touch on that point real quick. I did a video on.
Got him started.
I gotta go down real quick, but that new sphere that they have in Vegas, the MSG sphere, Madison Square Garden, is building these spheres all around the world. So I did a video on how they use numerology, because obviously they're good at making money. This is a huge mega company. So the acreage is on 18 acres is 8. Then they have an 18,000 seater, another 8. So the number 8 is the number of wealth. So they have all these 8s throughout, like how they built it, how many seats, the acreage, all that stuff. So they know. And that's the thing. People think like, oh, it's not real. You guys are using numbers. It's like, yo, numbers are the language of the universe. Like,
Yep. Speaking of number 8, it's a guy.
I like how you said that, Maverick.
No, for sure. It's a guy named his name is Victor, but he's a not financial advisor on TikTok. And he made a great point because he said Stellar was actually started on August 8th. I forgot what year it was, but he was talking about
right.
XLM. And he was like, it was founded
88.
on like, 8-8.
88.
It was
And
88.
when you look at Stellar, Saturn equals new birth. Something must die. I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
Yeah, that's that
Yeah.
talk. That's that
And-
talk. That's
I'm
that
done.
talk.
My bad.
Yeah. We'll cut it right there. I'm gonna switch the conversation before they flag this video. But the other thing I wanted to talk to y'all about is how do y'all feel about the future of smart contracts? Because I know XDC just made a huge move, but yeah, how y'all feel about the future of smart contracts?
I'll let you take that one, Kurt.
Smart contracts are going to be the way businesses run. They're an efficient way for businesses to reduce workers. Number one. It's
Just put it out there, bro.
Listen, it's a sucky conversation, but facts are facts. And these smart contracts, for those that don't know, smart contract is just a digital contractual agreement that does not rely on intermediaries. For example, in real estate transactions, when you're getting ready to buy a home, it has to go and you have to do a title search to make sure it's a good title. Well, when real estate is tokenized and using DLT, they can use smart contracts to search for that title because the title is on the blockchain now. You don't need a person to go through and pay them to go search for a title. It's already living on the blockchain. So the smart contract can go and initiate, verify if this title is good, yay or nay, okay, we proceed on with the next process. So think of smart contracts as a very modernized vending machine. It doesn't rely on any intermediary. It put in money. It has the programming and code. It spits out whatever candy bar you want based off the money you selected.
We're not going to need real estate agents in near future. Just saying, because I'm in real estate and smart contracts and everything else is the whole industry. I'll just throw that in there.
And your industry is stubborn because all my real estate friends do not want to hear that. They do not believe.
They're finished. I can tell you that now.
But that's the truth. Like when you talk about smart contracts, you're talking about hotel industry. You're talking about the medical industry.
Every industry.
Banking,
finance, real estate, like you said, everything, because it makes businesses so much more efficient. Number one. Number two, like they reduce jobs. We know the biggest overhead with jobs is health insurance.
Yeah.
And insuring employees. So you see them like with the automation with different like farm equipment. Like I was in Sam's 2 weeks ago and they had the little cleaning robot just going down the aisle, sweeping. So things are going to be automated. Smart contracts are going to reduce jobs, which is going to save money for companies. And companies at the end of the day is a business. So if they can, use smart contracts efficiently to replace people's jobs, you damn right, you out the door.
Listen,
I keep telling them, Kurt. I keep telling them, Kurt. I'm just glad somebody else saying it other than me, because I'm at this point I sound like a broken record. I sound bitter.
You know how it is, bro. People don't believe it till they get the pink slip.
Yeah.
Now, very important question. At least all three of us deem this a very important question. How much time do you think retail investors have at these low entry points for these projects that we mentioned.
Hey, Kurt, we just talked about this, Kurt.
How
Go
much
ahead.
time we got? Maybe.
You know what,
Man,
I'm gonna throw this.
listen.
I'm gonna throw this to T.
Okay, look, I'm going to say this: the moment you see that legislation passed through Congress regarding stable coins, DLT usage, and crypto in general, and it's successful and it's encouraging innovation to stay here in the U.S., it's over. So you better be keeping an eye on these flow charts regarding where these bills are at. And where the approval process, where in the approval process they're at.
Right
because once it's signed into law, it's over. In my humble opinion, once all of this stuff is ironed out and we see full clarity, legislation, and regulatory harmony, which is what they're moving towards with the CFTC and the SEC, it's over, man. Utility-based assets, you're probably going to have to be an accredited investor at that point to be able to even afford it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm hearing by the end of 23, like they want to have global crypto regulations by the end of 23. That's this year.
You know, I mean, I have my thoughts on, you know, certain time frames. I don't want to just throw a date out there so people can hold on to it. But like T said, when these laws, when these bills are laws and everything's in harmony, these institutions are going to throw billions of dollars into these asset class. And I tell people this all the time. I don't care how bad of a swimmer you are. When you are in the pool before institutions throw billions of dollars, you become the best surfer ever because you're just riding a very high wave.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a good analogy for that one. Because you got in, I like that.
It's just
analogies hit, man. They hit hard.
They do.
It gives people a better understanding. So that's why I keep telling everyone, I'm like, listen, don't wait until, you know, XRP is $12 when you can get in now. You're gonna wait and play it. Like once you play safe, you're doing what everybody else is doing. Like you got an opportunity to get in now. You're gonna wait till it's like $12, $15 to get in.
Don't wait till it happens.
And I just have a feeling, and I'll just say this, I don't care. I'll take the heat. I just feel like when the price starts running up, it's gonna start running up. Who's to say you'll catch it at that price when it starts?
I think it's gonna be hard to try to catch it at a particular price point because as these limit orders start filling, okay, let's cut all the bullshit. Banks and institutions, they got limit orders right now. And the person, and I just being transparent, the person that's waiting to spend their $300 or $400 to get some XRP tokens, I'm sorry, but you need to hear this too. You need to hear this. Your little $500 order is not going to process when this bank has a limit order of $20 million they want to buy it in crypto.
Yep, that's just the cold hard truth, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving you an opportunity right now. It's back on Coinbase. It's back on crypto.com. Like these places.
That right there, D. So take away and I know we focused on XRP, but there's a lot of other utility assets that are going to do some damage.
Facts.
You know, but just for this XRP conversation, you know, I want to say this. If a person had no understanding of what you guys said, what T said, what I said about XRP, if you took all of that and didn't understand nothing, all you had to hang your hat on was it's the only digital asset with regulatory clarity. If I'm a person that's coming to this space, I don't know shit. I don't know nothing, but this is the only one that has legal regulatory clarity and amongst 20,000 plus projects. I mean, what do I got to lose?
And that's funny you said that too, because remember Queen, we was on live the day before XRP won. You remember that? And we were going back and forth with some XRP haters, and we were literally saying that same exact thing a day before. And then we got on live when they won, and it was going crazy. Yeah. They were so mad because the day before we explained bit by bit, connecting all the dots, why, you know, this is not a security and why they're going to win. Literally the day before, everything you just said, they were just like, no, well, it's not this, not that. And the day after, it was hilarious. And then remember where you were.
Listen, I was in a grocery store. I was getting some groceries, man. look, Maverick called me and said, "Did you see the chat?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm grocery shopping, bro." And he like XRP one. I said, "Nah." I just didn't. I was like, "Nah, bro." I said, "What's the source? Who said it?" Like, it was. Listen. I was like,
It's
"Nah."
funny, Ashley,
I
because
couldn't
I
believe
had
it.
the,
Like,
I
what
had the
groceries?
conversation with you. I had the conversation with you, Queen, right before it happened too, because you asked
Yep.
me what my thoughts were. I said it's going to be non-security, and they're probably going to split the baby on the option contracts. Because here's what I know: never in the history of the Howey test and the SEC with securities has the underlying asset ever been a security. In the Howey
Wow.
test, the oranges in the orange grove were the
They were never
commodity.
securities.
They were never
Never.
securities. So that right there with the Howey test on top of the FinCEN 2015 designation that it's a virtual currency, I said the jig is up. It's not a security.
And that gets me into my question because I gotta bring it up, and I hate talking about this bank because I really don't like this bank. But J.P. Morgan, why do y'all feel like that this case even happened and went on for so long? Do you guys think
Ooh,
J.P. Morgan had something to
I'm
do
gonna leave
with
that
it, or?
alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave
ooh,
that alone.
ooh, this is a tough one.
It's tough. It's
Okay,
T alleged.
Alleged, yeah.
allegedly. Okay, let
Allegedly.
me let me
Yeah,
offer this disclaimer
allegedly.
before I say this. The views expressed here about the institution J.P. Morgan are solely for entertainment purposes. None of this
Only.
is confirmed. This is solely my opinion and my perspective from what I've seen. This is all hypothetical in nature. This is not representative of my opinions regarding my affiliation with the federal government or any other federal agencies' opinions as well. Now that we have that out of the way, this is what I'll say for entertainment purposes. JP Morgan is a cross-border payments giant. Ripple is an extreme disruptor to the current system regarding nostro vostro correspondent relationships that are contractual in nature and the fees that they essentially benefit off of from those payments. It has always been my hypothetical belief, because JP Morgan was essentially the first major institution to launch a DLT or blockchain based platform in the form of Onyx blockchain settler and JPM coin, that they, for entertainment purposes, could have hypothetically been the anonymous Wells purchasing up all the Ethereum. Now, if this is true, this leads me to a certain conversation I had with an individual that doesn't exist, that claims to be an imaginary insider, that I was going down the right path in my theorization, and that maybe there is a meeting that we're not privy to where JP Morgan executives wanted to purchase all of the XRP in existence that they could get their hands on. Imaginary meeting, they were told no by Ripple, and they essentially leveraged SEC employees and bigwigs against Ripple to sue them to slow their disruption of that current framework, because JP Morgan, for entertainment purposes, already knew that the cross-border Nostro replacement test with XRP happened in 2016 with our 3-member banks. Now, with that being said, Jamie Dimon, for entertainment purposes, may not want his current flow and framework messed up by something like XRP. Maybe they figured out at some point, hey, this may be a situation where we can't beat them, so we have to join them. And then you started seeing little sneaky initiatives where the Ethereum virtual machine was interconnecting with the superior techs via smart contract-based sidechains like, Stellar Blockchain, Hedera, the Dazzle Bridge linking ERC20 directly to XDC's network, the sidechain all-chain initiative that connects the EVM directly to the XRP ledger. And maybe this was done also because they know that in the end, the token doesn't need to be leveraged to apply smart contracts, just the Ethereum virtual machine. Maybe there's a plan to ride it up to one last big wave of profit and then migrate all those projects from ERC20 over to XDC20, which is the XDC network, via that Dazzle Bridge. Maybe that's why there's a Uniswap-like platform in the form of XSP already connected to the XDC network, mirroring ERC20's current setup, because it's the replacement for Ethereum, not just the killer, but it's going to be a cooperative effort to essentially migrate everything over there because that's more sustainable for institutions. And that's the way that JP Morgan, for entertainment purposes, figured out how to have their cake and eat it too in the DLT world, absent of Ethereum. But I have to offer my own personal disclaimer on all of this as well. I am not an official financial advisor. This is not official financial advice. This is simply my perspective. You can take my perspective and pair it with yours only after you've done your due diligence and research.
Yep.
Make sure that you understand the choices and decisions that you're making in the crypto market, and also make sure that you understand the risks associated with jumping in the crypto market. And that's all I got.
You know, T, that is a very, very thorough alleged standing. And those were all allegations.
That was entertainment.
However, I want to give a fact right now.
Ooh.
There has been a interoperability ISO 222 ecosystem flowchart that's been floating around 2 years that came off of the Federal Reserve's website.
Yeah.
So once it started getting attention, the diagram kind of disappeared off the website. But you know, the internet has, screenshot is the new three-way. So it got captured. And when you zoom in on that document, the allegations that, T was, discussed, those are allegations. I don't know how true the flow chart is, but it was on the Federal Reserve website. It had a little line going from JP Morgan to Zenfin Network. Zenfin Network is the network that the XDC token moves on. Interesting. Now, of course, T shared all those allegations. I was just stating
that
He's
was
just stating that.
I was just stating the fact that the chart was on the Federal Reserve website, and that was the details of the chart. Now, the chart could have been wrong. It was just on the Federal Reserve's website.
That's just where it was.
I forgot about that. Good.
Can I share
Great
something?
point out.
Yeah. Can I share something with you guys real quick? Since we're talking about this said institution, right? This is something I found on the website that's not there no more. So I'm gonna just share something with you real quick.
Like you said, screenshots is the new three-way, right? Right,
Listen,
right,
man.
Kurt? Okay.
When them receipts get to talking.
So it says here at JP Morgan, we will be live on day 1. We want to complete the transition seamlessly, giving our clients the best possible support and experience through this period. We're also excited to see how we can explore and analyze the richer data of ISO 222 provides, with the ultimate goal of enriching and boosting our clients' experience. Our advice in a nutshell: don't wait till 2025. The changes are coming fast. Make sure your payments ecosystem can accept ISO 222 in time in order to make the most of this game-changing piece of global payments infrastructure. And right at the bottom, it says, to learn more, contact your local JP Morgan representative.
Did that say don't wait until 2025?
Don't wait until 2025.
And then the changes are coming what?
Fast.
Oh, the changes are coming fast.
Man.
And this is not on that website anymore.
Oh.
I tried to find this. I posted this over a year ago, and I can't find it anymore.
It may have gotten scrubbed. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Maybe. So,
and, I'm glad you said that, because I remember when me and T were talking about this ISO 222, and we just stopped. It's like, why would all the financial institutions need to be adopting to a common messaging language by 2025 if they're not going to be using this DLT to just communicate with everything? Why would everyone adopt to the same messaging system that has enriched data that allows for you to send messages and choose digital assets that you may want to transact value in? Why would all financial institutions need to adopt one messaging system? Maybe just maybe, so you can have one standard of communication for this DLT to transact on.
Man,
Just
Just
heavy.
saying.
This is
Just
heavy.
saying.
listen, this was a lot of game and
know,
value.
This
was
is the
given right
last
here.
this is the last thing I'm gonna say, based off of T's great allegations earlier. This is going to the judge's summary. The judge said that institutional sales are deemed securities offerings, and programmatic sales through exchanges are non-securities. Now, there's a smart contract platform that did an ICO, and a lot of VCs did invest in early on, that were option contracts. So is that smart contract platform in trouble because now the judge has said that those initial offerings or that initial funding was securities offerings? I'm not
Man.
going to say the platform. I'm just saying the
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very, very known smart contract platform that did the ICO and had these venture capitalists and probably some alleged politicians in some unhosted wallets, get funded some coins.
Man.
Allegedly.
Man.
Allegedly.
What if the delay, and this is just an allegation, what if the delay in them pushing back with this lawsuit and appealing is because they know that the judge just said that those early sales were option contracts? Now they're trying to figure out, man, there was a lot of VCs that got some extra coins and early coins under the table. Now the judge says that's an options contract, which is a securities offering. Somebody's not comfortable.
Ooh.
Damn.
Ooh, that's a good take. That's a good
Damn.
take. Damn.
Kurt, I got another weird theory / allegation to throw out there for entertainment purposes. You know what I thought about earlier today? We talked about the Vatican calling for all those funds to be reallocated back into the church a while ago. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but if my memory serves me correctly, the Vatican's located in the country of Italy, right?
It is, but the Vatican City is its own
entity. But I just thought it was weird that the Bank of Italy was the first to choose a public blockchain publicly, in Algorand. I wonder if there's some sort of correlation between maybe what the Vatican may do at some point, and maybe what the Bank of Italy has chosen for their public solution.
I was reading somewhere, and there's a permission platform called R3. There's permission, which private.
Oh yeah,
but connects into Algorand, which is public. Interesting.
Oh man, wait, just to piggyback off of Algorand, the founder of Algorand, who's Italian, right?
Silvio Micali.
Oh.
Here we go. Went to MIT, right?
Yeah.
MIT's in Massachusetts, right?
Who else was at MIT?
Oh,
and my Mr. I voice, Gary.
It's funny how all of this is just coming together like this. It's one big ass happy family at this damn point.
And MIT's in Massachusetts. And what else is based in Massachusetts? Circle.
Damn, that was a good one.
And to add to that, that juicy intel. Guess what other platform that Circle is supported on? Algorand.
Bro.
A lot of MIT connections.
Look, like these folks went to school together and all type of shit. This is crazy.
Yo, Ash, tell everybody, family, that they need to know that this is legendary talk right here.
Listen, this is a big deal. Thank you, Kurt, because I know Kurt is pretty much done with the camera. And I just thank you for sacrificing one more time for me. T, thank you, because I know this is my second time asking you. And T, thank you so much. Y'all don't even understand, like, the whole reason why I started taking crypto serious was because Crypto Disciples had posted a video of T, and I went on a hunt to figure out who the hell, because he just took a clip from your live and posted it on TikTok. And I had to figure out who you were. And I think someone in the comments said your name. And I was like, after that, man, I went down a rabbit hole and I said, oh, this crypto shit is serious. Like, I said, oh, this is like life-changing serious. So y'all don't even understand the value that was just brought to y'all. But if y'all didn't know, now you do. So thank you guys so much for coming on and rocking out with us, bro. We really appreciate it. This was like,
thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you, Maverick. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Queen. Love the job you guys are doing with hosting this platform and just giving this value to people. So, because it's when we've all been there where, man, you just wish someone could have just helped you out or gave you something so you could use some discernment, or gave you a little bit something else that you can better understand, because nobody likes that regret feeling, like which I think is going to come for a lot of people, and nobody wants that sick feeling of, damn, I wish I would have known. See, it's two types of things is going to happen. It's going to be the person that misses out and said, damn, I wish I have known. Or it's going to be the second scenario, which I think is worse, is the person that got information and only invested a little bit, but then when they look and see what happens, they wish they would have invested more. And this is just for BlockNation. And all the information that was shared tonight from everyone, do with the information as you wish. But here's what I would tell you, and this is all fact, no fiction. This crypto plane is taking off whether you want to get on or not. You have no choice. What BlockNation is giving you value and sharing with you tonight is you can go down the jet bridge now and get positioned and make a left and go to first class. Or you can wait till everything's all nice and fuzzy, regulations are all cute, all the institutions are throwing money in, and you're chasing the green candle, and you're going down the jet bridge, and you're going to the right, back by the toilet, in the middle seat.
Right. And
So,
I hate being back there because it takes too long to get the hell off the plane. So that's like the worst seat possible.
So, whatever you do with the information, that's up to you. But whether or not you want to participate in crypto, whether you don't, that's all your choice. But you're going to have to participate whether you want to or not. So
Exactly. So thank you guys so much for coming on. And we'll definitely put your handle up, T, because I know you still have your YouTube up. So we definitely will add you.
Where can they find you guys?
Well,
so
look,
go ahead, T.
I was gonna say, I rarely at this point do YouTube like that. I'm on. I mean, you can put the handle up, but I'm on Twitter. But I've taken a pretty large step back from the amount of content and engagement that I used to do. But I like stuff like this. I'll always be in the back channels, and I'll always still want to help folks. So, and Kurt too, right? We didn't just completely disappear. We just kind of scaled our engagement back, for a multitude of reasonings. So, but we're still here at some capacity, is what I'll say for the people. And I just want to thank you guys. This is the second time I've come on, and you guys are a blast. To sit back with and chop it up. Regarding crypto and all this stuff. And Crypto 901, Chico, Chris, Outlaw, Kev. We're a team, man. And regardless of any of the recognition that Kurt and I or Crypto 901 or any of us have gotten, we never lost sight of that this is something that we all wanted to do together, to bring that awareness. And I appreciate you guys being a part of that as well. So I just wanted to say that.
Yo, that's
for sure.
Dope, man.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. For those that want to follow me on IG, it's K Crypto Insight. It's a collection of so I think some good gems and value on there.
Everything
on that page.
The answers to the test.
Right there.
Man, there it is right there. The answers to the test.
Answers to the test.
I mean,
it's a whole cheat code.
This is what we are all trying to do together. We all collectively, BlockNation, us, T, the other fellas, we all are just trying to give people the cheat code and an open book test.
That's it. We just, and that's the whole reason we created BlockNation, was we just wanted to, because a lot of people like myself, like my family's not into this. My friends are not into this. So I just wanted people to have a space to come into, to be able to talk to other people that like I had so much bottled up. That video that went viral, it was just bottled up. And I'm kind of like T said earlier, you just kind of need to let it out. And that's pretty much why I really wanted to create a platform that people felt comfortable being in, being in crypto, because it's a very controversial topic, unfortunately. But yeah, man, it's always good to chop it up with people like you guys with all the knowledge you guys have and that you guys are willing to share. And that's the other thing people don't realize. Like, a lot of people gatekeep this type of information, and you guys just gave it out.
It's a lot of that going on. So, and I know I'm still ranting, but we never wanted to be the people that, give you breadcrumbs and then turn around and hoard it or try to hit you with a service over the head. Like, nah, I don't know your appetite. I don't know your diet. I'm throwing you the entire loaf and let you eat as much as you want when you want.
Yep, that's it, man. That's so key, because like you said, in this space, there's a lot of gatekeeping, and
you guys have seen it. You guys have seen it. It's
we see it all the time.
It's a lot of gatekeeping, and it's like, I mean, it's kind of funny. And you interact with some people, and then they say a question, and then they find out like, oh shit, he may know more than me. Let me pipe it down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've seen it. But man, thank you guys so much for coming. I'm not gonna hold you guys up too much longer. But yeah, thank you guys so much for doing this again. So you guys make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys get in the Telegram, Real BlockNation, no spaces. Maverick, what's the text number again?
Text BlockNation to 26786 for all your info updates when we go live, when we drop merch, and when we drop a new video. So make sure you text BlockNation to 26786. Also, go to shopblocknation.com to get yourself some merch. We got the new merch up there, so don't miss it.
For sure. So thank you guys so much. I'm Queen.
I'm D.
I'm Maverick.
All right, we'll see y'all next time.